So we start off with the conformation first thing in the morning, and the judge is looking for an overall presentation as well as how good their feet are, you know, how straight they are in their legs. Do they have good angles in their shoulders? So we want to make sure that the legs are nice and straight. They're not bowed out all funny, you know, or over the knee. As far as the hind end goes, they like to see a nice angle to it, not too straight, so that you have a little more jumping power, you know, impulsion that can come through. They look for how long is the body? Is the body compact like him? And he kind of has a little bit short neck, but that's okay, it works for him. You know, other horses have a really long neck and they've got to kind of work through that. They may get a little more strung out where he kind of gets too compact. You know, and then we move on to dressage, which for the 5-year-old is more like a training level test. So that's kind of nice because we've just been doing novices this year. So it's kind of nice to challenge them a little bit more. They're not supposed to really look at each little movement. They're more looking at the potential. So if the rider has a funny day and has a funny moment, then, you know, they kind of overlook that, or they're supposed to. We'll see how the scores come out. You know, and it's kind of nice, you know, you're 5 and you should be going in novice or training maybe. So being able to come and do this in a more compact version is a good intro, especially if you're looking to move up, or like him, I kind of want to showcase him a little. We think he's nice and we think he has upper level potential. It'd be nice if other people thought so as well. And you know, it is kind of good if you ever decide to sell your horse. It's a great thing. If you haven't been able to get out to a recognized event, you've still done these young event horse or future event horse for the ones that are younger. You know, it's kind of nice to have on their resume. They're not going to fail your horse. They're not going to say, oh, your horse is too awful. You're not going to get to continue with the event. However, you might not score as well. The confirmation portion is 15%, which is kind of nice because you have some horses that make it to the upper level that they're kind of, you know, knobby-kneed or, you know, kind of crooked in some areas, but for whatever reason they can get past it and continue on. So I think that's why confirmation isn't nearly as important. And the same with the dressage. Like at this point for a 5-year-old, they're not that educated in dressage. So that's, I think, worth 35%. So, I mean, they're just looking to see if he's rideable and to see what kind of movement is there. It's not so much, did he do the exact thing at the exact moment? So that translates in, and they're looking for jumping ability. I mean, push come to shove, you want a horse that can jump well for eventing. I mean, it's great to have a nice dressage horse, but when you're going cross country, you want to make sure that horse can get through it. So then they do the mixed jumping phase. With the show jumping portion, we had 5 jumps for show jumping and then on to 7 cross country fences. So it was kind of nice. It was a good, show jumping was kind of like a little warm up portion, and then you just gallop on through the rest. And you know, to be honest, the ditch was pretty sizable. It was a good training level, I think. The water was good. It was a nice, inviting water. We were allowed to school it before we started show jump, which for him, I'm not sure that was the best thing because he kind of got his path. So when we came into the water, he thought we were going this way and we were going this way. So we had a little discussion with that. But that's okay, we made it, so it was good. You know, again, they're not even timing the jumping portion, which is great because if you need to take time, then you can. If you need to trot a fence, that's fine. You know, we trotted down to the drop off because that's what he needed. You know, it's an education process for him. We didn't have to worry about making the optimum time, although most of the time we have to worry about speed faults with him. But it was good. You know, I'll be interested to see what the judges have to say and the kind of comments that we get back from that. I think he jumped around great, so we'll see. And you know, honestly, depending on how our scores come out, we'll probably do it again. I mean, it's kind of a fun event. It's not nearly as much pressure as the recognized horse trials. It's kind of a good little intro. You do have to be able to say, I'm show jumping, and now I'm galloping to my first cross country. You have to be able to translate, but they give you enough time. I feel like the people that are doing these have young horses and they want to get them out. To be honest, I'm not sure a super young person would bring a young horse out to this, because a green rider with a green horse are never really a good mix. So I'm seeing a lot of professionals and ones that have younger horses, up and coming, and they're trying to get them out and get them doing something, kind of get them in the groove of competing without all the pressure. You do have the cross-country portion in the Young Event Horse series. In regular CTs, you don't. So it is a bit more involved, but I liked it. I had a great time. I mean, you're being judged on your jumping phase. You're not set to a clock, which is great. You can kind of showcase your horse a little. If he's a good jumper, show him off a little, Don't just worry about getting through it. Take your time and do what's right by him and have a good round. Any of my students that are coming into eventing, I like to take them to dressage shows and then show jumping shows. And then we go to combined training events, which is, show jumping and dressage. And then they move on to all three, because it's a bit overwhelming for somebody just coming in to just wham bam do all three. There's a lot to it, and it's it's different than any other discipline. I mean, it's really a triathlon, and you have to train for this and be good and know your horse and every little piece. Otherwise, you end up not having very much fun.